Hi, Mindy Mandell here. Thanks for joining me. So I got a request to talk about how to use dream analysis in our philosophical practice. So that's what this video is about. What I'm going to discuss in this video are techniques based on the teachings of Dr. Pierre Grimes. Now, I have mentioned him in some past videos. He's the founder of the philosophical counseling movement, and he does include dream analysis among his techniques. He outlines his methodology and theory behind that methodology in this book, Philosophical Midwifery. And you can also find many examples of him practicing dream analysis. They're on the Internet Archive. And I'll put a link in the description box, or actually you can just go to Internet Archive and search for Noetic Society. And if you go there, you'll find that there are many videos of Dr. Grimes on a number of different topics, including dream analysis, but not only dream analysis. Well, dreams have fascinated mystics and philosophers for ages. Throughout human history and in various cultures, dreams have long been recognized as being prophetic. Here we see Morpheus, the Greek god of dreams. And dreams are also mentioned frequently in Homer. Plato also mentions dreams in a few places, such as the Republic, but I'm not going to turn this video into an academic-like look at dreams in ancient Greek writing. What I want to do instead is stick to practical application. I'm going to give you some techniques to analyze your dreams based on what I have learned about dreams in my years of practice with Dr. Grimes. What we're aiming to do in dream analysis is to wade through all of the confusing images that are on the surface of our dreams. We want to pull out what is most useful to us. So first off, dream analysis requires flexible thinking. Our dreams are rich in symbolism, so we need to appreciate analogies and metaphors. What I will be showing you in this video is how to systematically strip the imagery away. But we need to do it in a way that allows the states of mind being highlighted in the dream to shine through. So it's important to appreciate throughout this process that dreams are providential. They are divine gifts that can highlight a state of mind that is affecting us, but a state of mind that we are currently either ignoring or not understanding. Dreams speak to us in the language of the Logos, much like mythology does. So learning to understand our dreams has twofold benefit, and those benefits we'll find are intertwined. So the short-term benefit, of course, is that we can receive the message of our latest dream. But in the long run, learning to understand our dreams gives us practice in learning the language of mind, capital M, mind. And that is the language of the Logos. Our dreams can point us to what we need to see in order to keep growing. But first, we do have to learn to recognize that language of dreams and to understand how dreams function. And so that's very much the basis of what this whole video is about. So let's get into it. So the first thing to do, of course, is to remember your dream. It seems obvious enough. But of course, it's easier said than done, so I'm going to give you a few tips on how to do this. I do recommend keeping either paper or a voice recorder of some kind, maybe your phone, next to your bed. Once you get out of bed, you'll find that you're likely to forget much, if not all, of your dream. So it is much better to have something within reach so that you can record your dream before you get out of bed. Also, before falling asleep, however hokey it sounds, resolve to remember your dream. This is the power of positive thinking, and it really is amazing how effective this can be. And then in the morning, you want to record, either in writing or by voice, whichever method suits you best, but you want to record whatever you remember, however brief, however hazy. And you want to do this every morning. The first few times, maybe you won't have very much to work with, but what you are doing is training yourself to recall your dreams more fully. And if you make this a habit, you will eventually be able to recall large chunks of your dreams. Really, you will. Now, the next point is that it is important to record every detail of your dream, even details that seem irrelevant at first, even details that don't make any sense to you. Sometimes our dreams do include some bizarre imagery. It can be difficult to describe, but do your best to describe it anyway. And once you're finished and you're more awake, you need to transcribe the dream if you had a voice recording, and you'll probably want to rewrite or type up the dream if you had scribbled it out illegibly when you were half asleep. Now, if you use one of those voice-to-type apps, you can skip this step, but it's still a good idea to break the dream up into scenes if you have at least 2 scenes. This makes it easier to map the flow of states of mind from beginning to end. And now you can review what you have. And you want to add any details that you may have since recalled. Now, it's okay if you don't have the whole dream. In my experience, I can tell you that I often feel like what I've recalled is just a chunk of a longer dream. But still, working with what I've got can be remarkably helpful. So it's still worthwhile. We're going to find that the key to unpacking a dream is to look for symbolism in the imagery. So I'm going to explain to you now how to pull a dream apart and then put it back together in a way that allows you to see the wisdom in the dream and the path that the dream is pointing you towards as you move forward. So I'm going to give you a list of items that we're going to look for as we pull the dream apart. First, I'll give you the list, and then I'll talk about each one. At the top of the list, states of mind. We're also looking for the action of the dream and the words of the dream, whether those words are spoken, written, or thought. And then we want to find the main conflict or challenge of the dream. Now, there are 2 more items, and we'll find that they both relate to number 4 here. Once we identify the main conflict or challenge, we want to look for what triggered it. And then we also want to contrast before and after that main conflict or challenge. Okay, let's start with states of mind. You want to think about every character's state of mind, not just your own. You also want to go through the dream line by line, scene by scene, noting the states of mind at each point. And while we're not looking only at our own states of mind, that will, of course, be our focus. And when you're looking at your own state of mind in the dream, a helpful question to ask yourself at each point in the dream is, what did it feel like? And you want to put as many descriptive words on it as you can. Next is the action of the dream. So you want to trace the action scene by scene. We also want to look at the words used. Usually there is some dialogue, some spoken language, but it's also common for something to be written somewhere in the dream, and you or your dream self in the dream might have some unspoken thought. Now, it's important to try to record the words verbatim, if possible. And here's where you'll find the benefit of recording the dream as soon as you woke up. These are the sorts of details that will tend to flitter away quickly. Okay, now we've gotten to the main conflict or challenge of the dream. With few exceptions, every dream does have one. An exception might be a prophetic dream, which most of us will probably never have anyway. But it's also possible to have a peak experience in a dream. And that, of course, is a very beautiful state of mind. So there won't be a conflict or challenge unless something in the dream pulls you out of that state of mind, in which case you can treat it like any other dream. Now, it is possible that the part that you remember of your dream is just too brief, and so you won't have enough to find what the main conflict or challenge was. In those cases, you are limited in how much you can do with the dream, but it's still worth looking at the states of mind and the action in the words. And then there'll be other cases where you remember enough, but the imagery is just too confusing, and so you can't recognize up front what the real conflict is. And if that's the case, then looking for the conflict or challenge will become central to your analysis going forward. Now, this fourth point, I want to say here that this fourth point, the main conflict or challenge, it's key because our dreams highlight our states of mind and the beliefs at their root. The main conflict or challenge will point to that state of mind, to those beliefs, and that's really a big part of their providential quality. Now, remember, the next two then were tied to this idea of main conflict or challenge. So next thing is, if we do find that main conflict or challenge, we want to look for its trigger. And that means we want to look for what happened just before that main conflict occurred. This helps you see what triggered some unhealthy state of mind. Now keep in mind here that the very setting of the dream or the opening action of it can also be triggers. The next thing we want to see is what has changed because of that main conflict or challenge. So in particular, we want to focus on what has changed in terms of our dream self state of mind. Now by this point, we familiarize ourselves with the dream's series of events and the accompanying states of mind, but we're still immersed in its story. At this point, you recognize something that you vaguely identify as yourself. Maybe you can't quite put your finger on what it is. What you need to do is go more deeply into the dream, and this means leaving the story behind. We will find that the meaning in our dreams can be found in the states of mind and in the beliefs that those states of mind point to. The dream's imagery, although it never really happened, since it was only a dream, it is in a sense absolutely personal. And recognizing the significance that those states of mind and those beliefs have played in our lives is a meaningful and powerful lesson. We will find that there is a sense in which dream analysis parallels our spiritual practice as a whole. Our physical world is not an image in the way that dreams are images. Yet this world is also not real in the way that reality itself is real. So it's a challenge of our practice to figure out what is meaningful about our lives without getting caught up in the proverbial shadow show on the wall of the cave. We are not these physical bodies that carry out various roles in our waking world. We may play the role of parent or child or boss or employee, citizen, and so on. Yet, even though we're not these roles, there is something that feels real about us, something that feels meaningful. It manifests as our thoughts and our feelings, our states of mind. We sense that something about our interactions is meaningful, even if our roles ultimately are not. The same is true of our dreams. The significance is not in the surface story. It's in our thoughts and our feelings and our states of mind. So much as our philosophic practice teaches us to break our identity with our physical body, dream analysis teaches us to break our identity with our dream self. Okay, so now we've broken the dream down into these various aspects. It's time to build the dream back up, but this time stripped of its imagery. So now we're going to go back over the dream. We want to focus on the words used in the dream and the states of mind. What do these states of mind feel like? So you want to put as many descriptors on them as you can. Ask yourself, when in your past did you experience these states of mind? In what role has this state of mind played in your life? We're going to find that when a state of mind is featured in a dream, that indicates that this state of mind is significant at this point in your life. We will find that our dreams focus on states of mind that we identify with, but the significance of those states of mind is currently eluding us. So I find it helpful at this point to go back and forth between the states of mind in the dream and those same states of mind as they were experienced in childhood. We'll find that situations change, but the states of mind are the same. There is undoubtedly something about the state of mind in the dream that feels familiar to you. So you want to look for personal meanings behind all of the images and the people in the dream. You are going to find that meaning tends to build around the main conflict or challenge of the dream. Maybe, for example, a certain limiting self-image kicks in whenever you act from a wiser state of mind in public. We call this a counterattack. And you may see this play itself out in a dream in the form of watching your dream self stumble into self-doubt. What you are looking for is eventually to pinpoint a limiting self-image that needs to be challenged, one that is currently stifling your growth. And you'll need to pinpoint what triggered it. Once you do that, you're now ready to do a philosophical midwifery exploration of this false belief that you picked up in childhood. And on that topic, I did do a video on this, which I will link at the end. So what we'll find then is that dream analysis can play a vital part in our more encompassing goals of clearing away our false images. And of course, all of this is to eventually know thyself. So I hope you found that helpful, and if you did, please hit the like button and think about subscribing if you don't already. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. I love to see those. Thank you very much.